For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Camping and Leisure with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a review on a product from Vango. So this here is the Vango Edoras. The Edoras comes in different sizes, so there's a 400XL, 500XL and then a 600XL, and those just merely refer to the sizes of people that sleep. So 400, 4 people, 500, 5 people, and you kind of get the gist. So this particular model was a model that ran really well for the 2017 season, carries on into 2018 season with a slight tweak here or there, but in essence still the brilliant tent that it was last year. Really popular because it's a good specification, gives you good size, and there's loads of features to talk about inside as well. The material, it uses 150 denier, so sort of double the thickness of a standard tent fabric, to give you basically a longer lifespan, be more durable. And it's a really nice sort of setup that you've got a main sleeping area, obviously a good sized living area, but a nice open canopy area which has the versatility of having a porch door added to it to seal it up. So you've got a bit more flexibility on how you want to use it, which is really nice. Yeah, again, beautiful crystal clear blue windows, and you've still got a nice orange guy ropes to make sure no one trips over your tent itself. Bear in mind there's also a zip on the front, which goes pretty much the full length all the way top along the bottom, so you can actually add an extension to it or the more formidable porch door. New features for this year, there's something they call a sky shield, which goes over the top of it, just to protect the roof against sort of bird muck or UV decoration. So it's basically just meant the tent last longer. So it's certainly something that's a required purchase, and I think for me it's going to help with condensation as well. So I think it's a good idea to buy one. If you have got a previous year's model, they still are compatible. So you could actually buy last year's version for this year's tent. That's not a problem whatsoever. While we have a look at the front here, we can talk a bit more about the open canopy. So the open canopy is a good sort of depth, as you can see here. You've still got windows so you get the visibility, but there's also positioned is curtains as well on here. The reason being is when you want to have that porch door in place, to make it sort of enclosed and private, you can use those up just to make sure that, you know, no one can really see you leaving your cooking equipment out here. So that's quite a nice little thing as well. But we'll talk a bit more about certain features as we head on inside. The only thing I will point out is that if you want to see how quick and easy these Airbnb tents go up, do check out our YouTube channel. You can quite happily see myself pitching these and packing these away, and it's, you know, quite a simple process to do, and something one person could easily do on their own. So I've pitched this tent, I think, in about 11-12 minutes on my own, which, you know, for a family camping, one person can happily, you know, put the tent up on their own while the other one takes care of the kids. So it's a really good concept. They're also available on our website. Okay, so in terms of price points, really nice, you know, sort of price for what you get. And yet again, if you like the idea of the tent and haven't got necessarily the fundage, we do have a interest-free finance which you can look at, and that's all on our website about terms and conditions, so you can always check that out. But let's talk a bit more about what's going on inside the tent. So now we're inside the Edoras, you can kind of get a bit more of a better feel for how it's kind of all laid out. So you've got, obviously, like I said, the main canopy area, you've got your living area and the sleeping area at the back. And the one thing I do really like about a tent is actually you've got decent height throughout a tent. Even when you go into the sleeping area, you can quite happily stand up and get changed. So it's one of those tents that, you know, it's for all people and all people on all heights. And for me, being sort of 6'2", 6'3", the last thing I want to be doing is stooping down when I get changed in the morning. So that's a really nice sort of bits and bobs going on there. Like I said, the canopy area, nice sort of width. You can quite happily, with the offset door, put some cooking units here and cook underneath here, under the shelter, without having to get wet. So I think, yeah, again, that's a nice sort of addition. You know, it just gives you versatility that it doesn't matter if you are cooking, you've got some shelter. And like I said, with the option of the porch door or even like the little sun canopy you can buy, you've got different avenues you can go down the line of. One thing you can see, like I said, with the windows is you've got windows in the kind of canopy area which pretty much just go up to the point here. You've got these new sort of sky panels which have been introduced as of last year. So in 2018 it still carries on. When you get into the main living area, the actual windows carry on all the way up. So you can have it sort of positioned halfway like so if you wanted to. Alternatively, you go to the full length of the main window or the top window. Yeah, again, you can then look at adding in two. The joys of this, I suppose, though, is you can bring it down sort of halfway. So it means you still get light coming in from the roof, but you're not compromising on, you know, people looking in. So you get that privacy, but you still have the light. So that's quite a nice thing I do like about it. And yet again, it's quite easy to pack away, it doesn't cover you, is you can quite literally just fold it in, roll it up, and it just sits in a little pocket with a toggle. Just keeps it all neat and tidy and just makes it easy to put it up and down in the mornings. Moving on to the front here, so the front door, like I said, has been offset now, so you've still got a nice window here, again with the sort of the curtain which you can quite happily get your privacy on. But the main door is, you've got a normal door as you would expect, but there's also a mesh door in place here as well. So the reason being is you can actually put the mesh door in, get yourself a good circulation, but not having to compromise about having the wind and well, the wind of course to come in, but the rain is not going to come in. So with that front canopy, it just gives you that sheltered area. So it means you can get good circulation into the tent to help sort of fight condensation, but more importantly, to keep it nice, fresh and airy inside the tent. And that's really a theme you do find, that underneath all the windows, there is a mesh panel yet again to try and help a good circulation of air to keep it fresher inside the tent. All of the doors, there's 3 of them, 2 on each side adjacent to each other, and obviously the main on the front, all have mesh on them. So it's the joys of that yet again means is helping that circulation. You can kind of see a theme appearing here. In the 4 berth, it's obviously a 2 and a 2, 500XL, 2 and a 3, and then 600XL is pretty much, as you see on the diagram, to be fair. The dividers between the sections is on this sort of range of tents actually is zipped. So it kind of actually does feel like a genuine separate inner tent, even though it's already attached. The joys of this means then you've got a much more thorough securement away from the kids in the night time. And so yeah, it feels like you're in your own sort of inner bedroom. And yeah, like I said, as you can see, standing inside of here, no problem for headroom whatsoever. It's quite neatly designed that the doors and everything are very simple to use, and you can actually zip them into these little pockets supplied. So it means again in the morning time, you can just quietly zip back and just bung it in the pocket at the back here, and it's just out of sight, out of mind. And each of the bedroom actually comes with a mesh panel, which you can see. So it means you can get circulation into the tent without having to sort of compromise on visibility or anything like that. Inside the actual inner tent, there also are some pockets. So down here, some pockets. So it means you can store sort of keys, phones, or torches in there. So when you're scrambling around in the darkness, you can kind of see what you're going to go for. And that, you also still get pockets on the outside of the tent as well. And you've got this nice pelmet, which runs the outside just to sort of hide all the toggle points. One thing that got introduced last year was something called SkyTrack. So the SkyTrack system was something that you could basically create a hanging point anywhere inside the tent. So what you do is you get 10 of these supplied with the tent itself, and what the joys of it means, just slides on to the cater. So you can always check out our SkyTrack system video. I'll show you how it all works. And it just slides on, and you can just choose your hanging point, put a lantern on there, and you're good to go really. One new feature they've introduced with the SkyTrack is they've slightly changed the position of it from last year. So rather than being central to the beam, it's now on the end sides here. Reason being is you can now actually buy what they're calling skyliners. So it's almost like a little roof liner which goes between 2 areas here, and it just gives you that sort of extra layer against sort of condensation. That's twinned up with a sky shield, so the shield goes on top to protect the roof, like I said. It just basically means you've got more waterproofing because you've got sort of 2 layers to there, so you're not going to have anything coming in. Yet again, you've got different layers of, like your houses, you have a double glazing or triple glazing. You're kind of creating a triple glazing there, just yet again to try and keep it cooler inside the tent, and yet again fight against the weather as well. One thing I always think is quite a nice thing with this new positioning is you can kind of get a bit of cord, put one sky hook there, one sky hook there. Suddenly you've got somewhere you can hang your towel to dry. Yet again, it's inside the tent, next to the window, so you'd get heat coming through, dry that sort of towel nice and quickly. So that for me is a nice little feature. But generally inside the tent in the main living area, you've got a decent amount of room that you can quite happily put a table or chairs, and you've still got plenty of room to sort of walk around. You're not taking up too much area. What you do find is there are cable entry points. So if you want main to hook up, you've still got cable entry points. There's one down here, and then again there's normally one either side of the bedroom area. So you can use a door for that one, or there's one on the right hand side just tucked behind the bedroom. So they have really thought about every sort of detail inside the tent itself. And one thing that's also new is you've got a different bag, so it's like an expansion bag. So if you are struggling to get it inside a tent, you should be okay this year. But like I said, using the pitching method and our sort of packing method that we show in our tutorial videos, check that out, and that's certainly something that you shouldn't have an issue again with. But in essence, really nice tent, like I said, with a few addition tweaks of the new position of the Skytrack and sort of the Skyliners and the offset door. I think it's a really nice model. Again, for the price point, I think if you don't want to necessarily pay the same sort of money as the Elite range, the range at the top of this, it's good because it's thick enough that you get good durability, but you don't have the weight as well. So I think going forward, this particular model in the Edoras, probably the 500XL, is probably the better model of the range. But yeah, again, something you can always look at in our indoor display showroom in Gloucestershire. So come down, see it all indoors, undercover, and get a feel and taste for it yourself. So that, in theory, is the Vango Edoras 400XL, 500XL, and then the 600XL.